you spend any time around the off-road mud scene, you might get the impression like you can't have any fun in the mud unless you're riding a fully custom 1000cc nitro burning jack to the sky on 42's bike, and I'm here to tell you that that is simply just wrong. In fact, in the collective experience of all the crew here at Dirt Trax, it can often be more fun to ride smaller, less powerful ATVs in the mud because they actually pose a challenge. It's more fun because you actually have to work at it. To today's test ride, Can Am's Outlander 570 XMR. Now, when I first got my hands on this thing a few seasons ago, I literally thought to myself, what good could it possibly be? Since then, I've learned that the 570 XMR is way more capable than you'd ever expect. And because it's less powerful than the big bore stuff, you actually need some level of skill to make it through the gnarliest of mud holes, but you'll still make it. The 570 XMR is basically just an Outlander 570 with a rad relocate, snorkels, raised foot pegs, big bumpers, and a set of 28-inch ITP Mega Mayhem tires. Its V-twin power plant produces 48 horsepower that is transferred to the wheels via a CV transmission through a Visco-Lock QE front diff. All of these specs look good, except for one. Many people will tell you that 48 horsepower is simply not going to be enough to spin those 28-inch Mayhems when the mud gets really deep and really sticky. Those people are what I like to call wrong.
You must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. Watch it look daytime in the night. We bring the vibes here. We full of life, you keep the change, keep the change. They hate and say we went and changed. I stay the same, you must be blinded by the lights.
The 570 actually does a more than impressive job of churning itself through even the thickest swamp matter. Whether you want to crawl through with low wheel speed or use lots of throttle to fling some pudding, the 570's 48 horsepower is always enough.
Must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. Watch it look daytime in the night.
One of the reasons you can get away with only 48 horsepower, which in truth is actually more than many other companies' 650 and 700 class engines, is because the Rotax V-twin power plant that produces them also produces stellar bottom end torque. And it's that V-twin torque that really makes this package work in our opinion, much more so than an equal displacement single. Now I want to cruise away from the mud for a second to talk about another aspect of the 570 XMR that you might want to consider even if you don't plan to spend a ton of time in the deep mud. Let's say you don't want to ride mud every day, but you do want snorkels and a rad relocate for the times you might, or just because it looks cool. Whatever, no judgment. If your plan is to buy a 570 XT and add snorkels and a rad relocate, you would be better off to buy an Outlander 570 XMR and have your dealer swap out those huge 28-inch Mayhems for a more versatile tire. The 570 XT retails for $88.49 US. The 570 XMR retails for $87.99. The XT has a winch, but the cost of the snorkels, foot pegs, and the rad relocate is more than the cost of buying the winch. When you factor in the initial $50 price difference plus the cost of all the related accessories, it's actually $305 cheaper to buy the XMR and add the winch, and that's before factoring in any installation costs. Is there anything you get with the XT you don't get with the XMR that I'm missing? Well, they both have tri-mode DPS, heavy-duty bumpers, premium plastics, and 12-inch cast aluminum wheels. So no, there's not. After spending a few seasons with the 570 XMR and running it through some deep mud sections myself, but then also loaning it to TRAX TV's resident mud expert, Graham, there's only one conclusion he and I could come to about this vehicle. It's an underappreciated underdog of a mud ATV that's extremely versatile and will exceed anyone's expectations. If it were me, I'd be buying the 570 XMR and taking the $300 I saved versus tricking out an XT and putting it towards a second set of aftermarket wheels with trail tires. Then I could switch back and forth depending on what I planned to do that day and truly enjoy the best of both worlds.